to give our invocation, followed by the pledge.
Let us pray. Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the opportunities that you've given us. We thank you for the blessings that you've bestowed upon us, how grateful you are, dear Father. We just need to be mindful as we serve Whitfield County, dear Father, we can make this a wonderful and better place to live. Dear Father, we just pray that you'll bless our efforts tonight and go with us and guide us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May the record reflect we have all 5 commissioners present and our quorum requirements are met. The commissioners and the public were made a copy of the agenda approximately 6 days ago. There are 2 changes since then, which were sent out on Friday. One was a resolution, which the agenda item was already on there, but the backup resolution was added to the packet. And the other is a new item for our district attorney called a spacer contract, which we'll explain what that is. But I do need a motion to amend the contract and add the spacer contract as number 25 before we have public comments at the very end. Is there a motion to amend the agenda with those changes? Motion by Commissioner Jones. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Staton. Is there any further discussion or issues? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. That passes on a 4-0 vote. There is one consent agenda item tonight, and that's the same as we've been doing the last several months, which is just to confirm the budget amendments to the items that we voted, the purchase agreements, and the changes from last month's agenda. No additional changes, just for our auditors only. The minutes were also sent out approximately 6 days ago from our last regular meeting in May, and I don't think we had no special called meeting, so it's just our standard meeting from last month. Did anyone get a chance to review? I know Mr. Jones was out. Any questions or concerns about the minutes or changes?
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Staton. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. All right, we'll do our employee recognition for April. If Jacob can come forward. And his supervisor, Kent, did make it in time. That's good. I know you had a little family situation, so I'm glad you could make it and tell us. I know Jacob leads our MPO, our Metropolitan Planning Organization, and he does a lot of other things. Tell us about him.
Well, and I don't know if you can hear me well with this.
Should.
Jake started working for us when he was, 18? So worked with the transit department, so he's been here with us a long time, even though he's still a young guy. But he's gotten his engineering degree while he's been with us, and we haven't thrown anything at him yet that he hasn't been able to handle. And he's just been a great employee, but especially during COVID and during the last few months since we've been doing a lot of Zoom meetings and virtual meetings, Jake has really gone above and beyond to provide technical support to everyone in the department. Some of us older folks in the department that needs the technical support, but he's done a really good job as MPO coordinator as well. We're very proud of him.
And he has to reach across, county lines to Murray County. He has to work with the state on transportation, GDOT, so it's more than just working with Whitfield County and our citizens. It's across counties and across the state, so we really appreciate it.
That's right.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
I don't know if this thing was on. Yeah, seems like it. Okay, we also have a proclamation for our Whitfield County schools, specifically their soccer programs. So as Whitfield County is fortunate to have multiple schools with elite soccer programs, participation and support of athletics is an important part of developing leadership skills and the creation of excellence. Hard work, dedication, sportsmanship, and talent of all Whitfield County soccer programs during the 2022 soccer program resulted in multiple victories. All teams brought great honor not only to themselves, but to their schools, family, and community. Whereas Whitfield County Board of Commissioners recognize their outstanding achievement, excellence, tradition, leadership, and positive role model for the youth of our community. Now, therefore, let it be proclaimed, the Whitfield County Board of Commissioners do hereby recognize and congratulate all Whitfield County school programs for demonstrating tremendous talent in bringing recognition to Soccertown, USA, with pride, sportsmanship, and dignity. Can I have a motion to accept the proclamation?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. We have our public hearing. There's 3 businesses that have applied for an alcohol beverage license. We've got the Dixie Food Mart on South Dixie Highway, the Family Dollar Stores on Cleveland Highway, and Nojaro Traders, or J Tobacco, I guess is how they go by, on East Morris Street. All of those are packaged beer, and some are packaged beer and wine. Are any of the owners of the businesses here that would like to come forward? Hello? If you would like to make any comments or share anything about your businesses, you have to come down to the microphone, though. I don't think you're old enough to drink, so we're not going to let you come and talk about alcohol. We are not going to give you a license, young lady.
Not much, just to say that look forward to operating this business and serving the community.
Is the business open already? You're just adding this, or it's not even open yet?
It's about to.
Okay. And which one is yours? The J Tobacco?
That is Dixie Food.
Oh, okay, Dixie. Okay, gotcha. Great.
Thank you.
Any questions from the commissioners? Yes, sir? Oh, all the applicants are here? Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any concerns or questions about these permits or licenses? Anyone want to come forward? Okay, thank you so much. Yep, appreciate it. All right, if there's no other public comments or questions, I will close the public hearing. All right, now we move into our reports. We always start with our objectives, which is to upgrade and modernize our communications, to make our employees more engaged as they're in their county, and to renew our focus on better paying jobs, not just more jobs, to lower property taxes, and to improve our teamwork and cooperation with the towns and cities of Whitfield County. We had a great opening, I thought, Friday afternoon of our animal shelter. If you weren't able to attend, or if you, hopefully there'll be an article in the paper on it. But these are just a few shots from the animal shelter. There's actually a couple of more murals that I didn't have room to put a picture up there, but it's really geared not just for our employees, but for the dogs and the cats and for the community to come in to bond with these animals, to make sure that they pick the right one. We want to make the right home for these homes. We want to increase our adoptions. We want to provide spay and neuter services so we can kind of reduce the overall population of these stray animals as well. And that's what this whole center is about. So appreciate everybody that came out. And if you haven't, feel free to come out. If you're looking for a dog or a cat, we definitely have some we'd like to adopt to you. So we have another grand opening planned for next month. This is the Rocky Face Ridge Park that's been underway. There's been donations and work on this for, I think, almost 15, 20 years now. So it's a 1,000-acre conservation park, all natural. Of course, it has the Civil War heritage. It has the hiking trails, the biking trails, even a water feature, and we're adding bathrooms and pavilions and things like that to make it really friendly for all walks of life. We're actually having everyone who donated and worked on this can make it on July 25th, so that's the reason. It's actually open now, so feel free to go by in the meantime and take advantage of the park. But our dedication of the park and all the people that donated time and actual money and real estate to make this 1,000 acres become a reality, that's the first date that they could get here. They don't all live in Georgia, represent nonprofits and environmental organizations across the country. So we look forward to that at 4:30 on July 25th. But like I said, the park is open. We're continuing to improve it, increase the trails, adding pavilions. You'll see that on the agenda later tonight. So you can have birthday parties out there, picnics, those type of things as well. And then lastly, we started this process of applying for grants. And I like to use a sports analogy. Wayne Gretzky says he's missed every shot that he never took. And so we apply for a lot of grants, and we get a lot of no's, but we also get some yeses, and that's what we have to keep doing. We keep applying, we keep working. So we're applying for bridge grants, infrastructure improvements, and tonight we've got 2 grants that we did get a yes on, and we'll agree to accept those in a few minutes here. But it is starting to pay off. We're starting to get more and more grants. We're starting to get more wins under our belt. We're still going to have losses because it's very competitive. There's limited funds. There's limited justification for them. But we've got 2 wins tonight to approve as well. All right, the rest of the commissioners. Commissioner Jones, any thing for you to report?
Only thing I've got is they have started work on the bridge work on the bridge repairs that we approved earlier in the year. They have began on that work.
The culverts and the bridges?
Yep.
Great.
Some of them was worse than they thought
Expected.
when they got it cleaned up so they could see. So
Glad we're doing them.
glad we're doing them. We probably did. Well, I know the one on House Valley, I cross it every day. It was built in '58, and I don't think it's had anything done to it since 1958.
A lot of work to do on our roads and bridges, that's for sure. Commissioner Thomas, anything for you to report from any boards or committees? Okay. Commissioner Staton?
No, sir, nothing to add tonight.
Commissioner Robbins?
None.
All right, our county administrator, Bob?
Let me turn this on.
I hear you.
Can you hear me? Oh, it is working. So it seems that grants is the theme for tonight's meeting. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending, whether you're here in person or viewing remotely via Facebook. I wanted to talk about a few of the grants, and I know the food bank grand opening doesn't state the word grant in there, but that actually is the genesis that is also a grant. The county competed for a CHIP grant, and I believe we were only one of 10 communities in the state of Georgia that received a CHIP grant. CHIP is an acronym, I believe, for Community Housing Improvement Program. And what this essentially does, it's a $400,000 grant, and it won't solve all of our housing problems, but one thing it will do is it's geared towards people who are owner-occupied housing, but for whatever reason, either because of poverty or because of their age and they're retired and on limited income, they can't afford to make the necessary repairs to keep that house in good shape, not only for their benefit to have good, sound, decent housing, but also for the community's benefit as well. Because as we all know, dilapidated homes not only have a lower value, but they also lower the value of homes in the neighborhood. So that will begin September 1st, and we hope to be able to repair and rehabilitate at least 6 homes. That will be advertised for eligibility, and people will be able to make applications. Keep an eye on the county's website. The second thing is transportation grant study. That's a grant from the federal government. As Chairman Jensen mentioned, Jake Bearden, who oversees our metropolitan planning organization, we applied for and received a $200,000 grant from the federal government to initiate a transportation freight study. As you know, from traveling on I-75 or in the area, there is an enormous amount of 18-wheeler trucks. In fact, this corridor is one of the busiest in the country for freight. The main reason for that is there are many millions of people living south of us in the Atlanta area, but also in Florida. So those trucks are all carrying goods to areas south of us, and particularly into Florida. So we have a lot of trucks coming through here. We also have the inland port in neighboring Murray County. For anybody who's been to Savannah, you'll see that frequently those container ships come up the Savannah River full of cargo containers, which are then put on rail cars and transported from Savannah up to Murray County. And from Murray County, they are then put on trucks and dispersed throughout the United States. The inland port is a great innovation for moving freight, because by moving that freight from Savannah inland to Murray County, we are able to take those trucks, at least for every container, it takes one 18-wheeler off of Georgia highways for about 750 miles round trip. So So that's a real innovation. That's the good news. The bad news is that in this area, a lot of those freight containers are then taken off the rail cars and put onto trucks. So that's a problem that we have here, and what that transportation grant will do, and we were awarded it in March of this year. It will help us forecast future freight expansion through planning year 2050. It will establish freight movement characteristics unique to Whitfield County, basically what roads are being traveled to transport freight. It will identify congestion, bottleneck, and safety and security issues as they relate to freight. It will provide an infrastructure needs assessment, so it will be incorporated into our future planning. And it will recommend improvements to infrastructure to account for freight activity in this area. The last item is the food bank grand opening, and that is scheduled for coming up on Thursday, June 23rd, beginning at 5 p.m., and the new food bank facility is at 1111 South Hamilton Street, so it's easy to remember, just 4 ones. That was a result of a federal grant that we received for $2.3 million. There were some matching funds from the food bank of Chattanooga. We have a branch office here as well. We were able to acquire property and to improve it. So the improvements to the food bank facility on South Hamilton will be a new freezer and cooler space and increased and improved docks. What we will be able to do is not only to provide food for people who are in food insecure households, but also provide more healthy food, fresh fruits and vegetables as well, to improve the health of individuals and the community as a whole. That's all I have.
What's the date on that grand opening? I didn't
Once
catch
again,
that.
the date for the grand opening for the food bank is Thursday, June 23rd at 5 p.m. at 1111 South Hamilton Street.
5 p.m.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions for our county administrator? Okay. We'll move to our finance director, Mr. Garvin.
So through April, our local option sales tax continues strongly, in spite of concerns about inflation and economic conditions. So far, it has really shown no signs of slowing, and it's at 4.6 million year to date, higher than, or equal to 12% higher than collections last year through this time frame. TABT, almost statistically the same, 1.8 million greater than collections through April of this time last year. And then our year-to-date revenue is 3% higher, 14 million year-to-date, greater than last year through this time frame. And our expenses are up 1.25%, and that's mainly salary and benefit increases and inflationary cost pressure.
I guess the TABT must be used cars because you can't get any new cars. Or maybe they're the waiting list they sell, they never put them on the lot. I'm not sure, but I'm glad it's held up as well as it had with the supply chain. But it's good news on the revenue side for sure.
So we see here a graphical representation. The point of interest there, the actual at 14.3 million there versus the actual for last year of 11 million. That's 3 million of that 3.3 million increase is the ARP revenue loss funding.
Okay.
That was approved to transfer and use some of that at last month's board meeting, and that transfer was made. So most of that is that jump. Local option sales tax is running a little bit higher through this point of the year, but there's very little difference beyond at this point that ARP revenue loss transfer. It's making that difference. And our expenditures, we mentioned salaries and benefits, and the inflationary cost increases are your 1.15 million this year greater than last year's actual. We're just barely above projected expenditures through this point in time, through April.
Yep.
I would say with that no department has exceeded its total approved budget, or the county administrator would have known about that first, and then, of course, you all, because you'd have to decide what to do with that. But when we're looking at this through a point in time, you may have some spending for supplies or a major project or just an attempt to, I don't know, but to stockpile, let's say. You expect inflation to make costs greater, so you're taking 1/12 you get through April, and a department may have spent a little bit more. But that in and of itself doesn't indicate a problem at this point.
And the fuel cost, I guess, would be the primary driver. And so the actual fuel costs are in here, which were quite a bit more than we budgeted, but we amended the budget to add some additional fuel costs for the rest of the year.
Yes, sir, for Public Works, the Sheriff's Department has not exceeded their budget. They're not yet approaching a point where we might discuss that or bring it up to you for your consideration. They're eating into their budget, but they're not at a danger point yet.
Okay.
And so this shows our, over on our revenues a little bit, just barely under there, well, over our projected expenditures, giving you the negative color. But the net of that was just about $200,000 of a surplus through this point in time.
That's a good turnaround, turnaround from last year, or last month, so that's good. Back into the green.
So our unassigned fund balance, we have two things there. If everything were to remain the same, we would project approximately a $32 million fund balance. Again, that just jumped up $3 million with the revenue loss funding transfer that came in from last month versus this month. Our actual is $27.5 million, and that bumped with the funding transfer. I think last month we were projecting a high 24 point something million, or just over 25 million fund balance.
I think the commissioners need to think about that. I wouldn't expect, he has to put it somewhere, so he's plugged it into the fund balance, but I wouldn't expect we would leave it there. Whether we put it in sewers or put it in pension prepayments or capital improvements for 2023, 24, those type of things, that's all up to you guys to decide. But he's parked it there right now, but that's not ultimately where we have to leave it if you guys don't want to. So be thinking about that between now and when we do budget in September, October.
So the bonded projects for our SPLOST that were approved, we're approaching the end of the bonded funds on those projects. Almost $24 million has been expended to date. And again, for the month of April, our two largest projects are the Riverbend and the courthouse, and the two largest expenditures for April were Riverbend and the courthouse. And then these are the actual SPLOST proceeds. Receipts at almost $34 million. Project expenditures of those SPLOST funds, almost $13 million. Our bond debt service, we have funded the debt service account, what we are required to set aside toward our debt service payments for this year. We completed that and had a small allocation of leftover, if you will, from April receipts that went to Dalton City and to the county.
For their tier 2 projects, I guess, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We're 40% into our collection period. April was the 19th month, and we've collected so far about $7.7 million, greater than what was budgeted at this point.
7.7. Okay. Any questions for our finance director?
Status of the courthouse, can we get an update?
Yes, so obviously we were supposed to, I meant to cover that earlier, so thanks for the reminder. We were hoping to be in the courthouse for this month for our commissioners meeting, the first one, and have a grand opening and a tour of it after our meeting recessed. But we found out that there was a change in the fire marshal standard for the elevators that occurred after we purchased and started installing our elevator. So we had the choice to either appeal and say we were grandfathered in because we got our permits and started our construction before the change to the elevator code took effect, which would take several months, or just upgrade to the new standard, which our elevators are capable from a software and a communication standpoint of upgrading to the latest standard. So we'll probably have the only elevators in Whitfield County to support this new standard. But that was quicker. It's not very expensive, so you'll see that later tonight. So I told them to go ahead and get started and let you guys ratify it so we can finish the move-in. We've already started moving the furniture in, but we can't from an ADA standpoint because we don't have elevators certified yet to move people on the lower levels in because they had no way to get down there if there was a handicapped issue or something like that. So maybe next month. We are hoping to get the artwork hung, get the elevators finished this month, and we can have our grand opening and be back in there for July. So got delayed, but we'll have a really modern elevator system as a result, I suppose. Any other questions? Did I say all that right, Kent? I hope. Good. Is there a motion to approve the finances as presented? Motion by Commissioner Jones. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Thank you. All right, this is our first chance for public comment to hear from anyone in attendance on items on the agenda. So the agenda was playing before the meeting started, and we voted to amend it slightly. So any questions or comments before we vote or discuss the agenda items? Now is the time for that, or if you have just general questions or comments, we can do those at the end. I think we have one person coming forward. Take your time. Yeah, they can't have an alcohol license, but they can have public comment. We're happy to have the kids here. I think we've had some kids present, so.
So I wanted to speak on the Brass Investments rezoning case.
Okay, sure.
The road that, I believe the zoning issue is
Sorry,
they're wanting
what
to.
is, for the record, what is your name?
My name is Christian Roach. I live on 172 Bearden Road.
Yeah, thank you.
Lived with the county for my whole life, or lived in the county. Went to Dalton State High School, or college and everything. So my concerns are with the, sorry. Take them both. So the lot is being zoned to make it where it can have 4 households on it, and it's less than an acre, is what I've been told. I'm not sure if that's exactly what they want to do. 4 to 3 is what I've heard. So I don't know that our road can sustain that. I just wanted to.
Generally, you can only put 3 houses on a lot if it has sewers. If it doesn't have sewers.
We don't have sewers.
I didn't think you would have sewers out there. Can you pull that up, Commissioner Staton or someone?
I am trying to find the email.
Because that doesn't sound like it. I agree with you that you could have.
Right. Our road is already we live off of 41, so it's already dangerous pulling out of there.
Right.
I would, if it is approved, I would like some road work done, maybe to widen the road where it intersects.
And what's the name of that road?
Bearden?
Bearden. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Where is that?
And that's behind the food line?
Yes.
Okay.
I lived there for about 5 years now.
Gotcha. I think there's 4 lots, but I think they're not 1 acre in size, if I recall.
I think it's
But
one lot, less than an acre, being rezoned for an R2, I believe.
Right, which would be 3. But he'd have to tap into the sewers, which there are sewers on 41, but it's possible he may or may not be able to from a logistics standpoint. But he'd have to. It wouldn't be approved from a permit standpoint without that.
There is also a building that was burnt down that
Yes.
still hasn't been removed there. I don't know if that. You can't sit up there. Here, let me put you on the phone.
Okay, but we'll make sure there's not 4 houses on 1 acre.
Okay.
There may be 4 houses, but it would have to exceed 1 acre. But we'll verify that.
Okay,
Yep.
that's all the comments I have.
Thank you for your feedback.
Come on, let's go.
Any other comments on our agenda items? All right, we'll move out of public comment. And we have a presentation from our property assessor, Mr. O'Donnell. It's that time of year, so we wanted to see what was going on with this crazy economy and everything and where we're situated.
That's right, Chairman. It is definitely that time of year for assessment notices. Definitely not everybody's favorite topic. As Chairman Jensen said, I'm Ashley O'Donnell. I'm Chief Appraiser for the Whitfield County Board of Assessors. Just some quick generalities about the board. They're tasked with setting all values, determining values of property, both taxable and exempt in the county, as well as approving all exemptions, whether that be a homestead exemption, agricultural exemptions, historic, or even exempt from taxation, such as churches, schools, government buildings, and that sort of thing. The Board of Assessors are, of course, appointed by the Board of Commissioners. In our office, governing the Board of Assessors, we have two oversight agencies at the state level, which is kind of rare for a local government entity. Those two agencies are the Department of Audits, which conducts an annual sales ratio study, and the Department of Revenue, which provides education for assessors and assessors office staff. Plus, they do a 3-year digest review. It's called a digest review, but it's really more in depth than that. It's a review of every single thing that the office does in that county, good, bad, or indifferent. It's a spreadsheet questionnaire that literally takes 10 minutes just to scroll from the top to the bottom. So everybody, I think, kind of knows, as you mentioned, the crazy economy. We're at a historic real estate market as far as what properties are being bought and sold for. Chairman Jensen, I'm not sure, is my graph on there?
Yes.
So this is a lot of data. This is from 2020 all the way through December 31st of 2021. This is tracking the sales of existing homes in Whitfield County. The blue bars there represent the volume of sales, just frankly speaking, the number of what we consider fair market legitimate sales. It's after taking out any sort of family sales, estates, wills, quit claim deeds, and that sort of thing. The black line with the red dots, that's the average sale price of those homes. So if you come all the way over to 2021 data, you can see how high those sales have gotten on average compared to the previous peak. If you look back, what is that, 2008? Before that, that recession hit the real estate market. You can see we're well above that, and we're really very close to the sales volume peaks that we saw back in 2006, 2005, 2004. The assessor's office, we've been very conservative with our valuations over the past few years. When COVID hit, we were actually ready to do across the board increase of valuations, but with the uncertainty of the pandemic, we were cautious to make any major updates at that point. I think anybody's prediction would have been that the real estate market would have slowed down considerably during a pandemic, but the complete opposite happened, and sales really began to pick up, as you can see in 2021, as that line gets really steep.
So roughly 1,200 homes were sold last year,
That's
and
right.
approximately $225,000 sale price for each on average.
That's right.
Or median, I should say.
Exactly. That'd be your average sale price of those, exactly.
Okay.
So our conservatism with our valuations, due to that, our 2021 ratio study from the Department of Audits is going to be low. We're most likely, to my estimates after seeing preliminary numbers, we're going to have some deficiencies that will make it into the Department of Revenue's digest review, which is also 2021. Now this gets confusing because everything in the assessment world is kind of a year behind. Our 2021 ratio study from the audit department will be coming out any day now, probably by the end of the month, maybe into July. But again, that's 2021 numbers, so we've got to react to that, and we've got to make changes to fix things for our next Department of Revenue 3-year review, which will be in 2024. So we're kind of already a year behind. So what I'm doing is offering several different options to the Board of Assessors, different strategies. They'll be voting to approve on Wednesday morning to finalize 2022 assessments, and those range anywhere from a 15% increase on average for residential properties up to about a 25%. That also includes at least a 15% increase on all commercial and industrial properties as well. So it's not just picking on residential. In addition to our commercial and industrial updates this year, we're about to start a complete ground-up review of our commercial and industrial digest, and that'll take at least a year, if not 2 years, before the final product is in place. So my goal right now is the Board of Assessors picks a strategy. We finalize values on Wednesday. We'll have a little bit of data cleanup to do. We'll upload our assessment notices to a third-party vendor that does the printing, because we can hire the printing and mailing out cheaper than we can do it in-house. When you're mailing 50,000 assessment notices, obviously you want to refer to the experts to get it done correctly in the most efficient way possible. And so if my timeline works out, those notices should hit the mail June 24th. So that's before our end of the month deadline by law. That then opens up a 45-day appeal period, and we try to make appeals as easy as possible. It's not at all confrontational, so for the taxpayers out there listening, don't think about it that way. You can go to whitfieldassessor.com. As soon as the assessment notices go live, our online appeals module will be live. It'll walk you through the process, and those appeals come directly in our office, just like if you came into the office in person. So that's the easiest way, but if you'd like to come in, sit down, speak with me or one of the appraisers on staff, we'd be glad to speak with you. That's pretty much all I've got at this point. If any of the commissioners have any questions for me specifically.
Just to clarify, we do appoint the Board of Assessors. I think they're 6-year terms. We've got one on the agenda tonight,
Right.
but they're pretty long-term
are.
appointments because of the testing and the certifications that
That's right.
the individuals have to have.
That's
It's not
right.
just a volunteer board. You actually have to take classes.
To be on the Board of Assessors, the law is very specific at education they've got to get from the time they get appointed. In the first, it works out to 2 years, roughly over 2 years. They need about 100 hours of training. So that's a big obstacle to a lot of people who may otherwise want to serve, but it is education-wise pretty intensive.
And the board, like I said, we appoint them to pretty long-term position, and they don't report back to us. We don't give them direction or tell them what to do, and we don't tell you what to do for that matter. We provide you a budget for yourself and your team, but beyond that, you're audited by the state,
Exactly.
and you have certain regulations you have to meet, and then your board tells you what to do.
Correct.
It's not coming from the commissioners. I don't think we would suggest a countywide audit, but again, it's outside of our control for legal reasons. We're segregated and we're separate entities, so that's just the way Georgia's set up. So a lot of people come up to us and said, why are you doing a reassessment? And we're not trying to pass the buck, but that's just the way the law is written.
I understand, yeah, and I ask you to, please pass that buck. That's what we're here for.
Right.
We're here to work through these appeals, reach out to the taxpayers, explain the process. So as I said earlier, don't think of it as a confrontational thing.
Right.
It's not at all.
And if the digest goes up fairly uniformly, which it may or may not, but hopefully residential, commercial, and each individual person's goes up at a fairly uniform rate, then the commissioners can take an action to relieve that to some degree, or to maybe even the majority of the degree, by a rollback. So we
That's
won't
right.
know those details until your board votes, and then we
Exactly.
take action in August. So hopefully we can work on that and provide the relief, because you're not in charge of taxes and we're not in charge of assessments, and that's how we work together. So it gets tricky when 2 or 3 people go up by 50% and everybody else goes up by 1. That's going to be,
Absolutely.
from a math perspective, I can't do anything to help those individuals.
Exactly.
But if it's a uniform, that's all the only suggestion that I had. Again, it's just a suggestion. If it's uniform, then we can hopefully alleviate any pain that the individuals might be seeing. But other questions for the commissioners on the assessment or the timeline or the percentages? We did have an economist scheduled. Unfortunately, he had to cancel. We just found out Friday afternoon, Friday evening, that he could not make it due to a conflict. So we'll look to have him up here at a later date. But
And it's unfortunate that he couldn't make it, because he provides a tremendous amount of data, really studies the state and the Southeast as a whole. So I would look forward to him coming, maybe getting rescheduled in the near future.
yeah, we'd like to know what the economy is going to do, what inflation, the recession, not just on housing, but as we set our budget and the tax rate. I think that'd be good information for us to know. So hopefully we can get him rescheduled. But anything else for Ashley? All right. Thanks for filling us in.
Thanks for
Thank you.
coming. Thank you.
All right, now we're actually on our agenda item where we vote to approve the alcohol and beverage licenses for the 3 individual businesses that were in the public hearing. Any questions or discussion from the commissioners on these, or concerns? I know they all passed the background check, and there was no, of course, public comment on any of them. Motion by Commissioner Jones to take all 3 and approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. We mentioned the reappointment. We have Sandy Duncan from the Board of Assessors. We just heard from our Chief Assessor, appraiser, a second ago. We also have a reappointment of Eric Barr to the Planning Commission, and 2 also reappointments to the Merit Board. Any question or concerns about these appointments?
Make a motion to take all of
Motion by Commissioner Robbins to take all of them and approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. All right. We also have some reappointments, which we do not do. So this is another thing that the Board of Commissioners are definitely not all-powerful. We do not control the assessments, and we do not appoint even the Board of Elections. So this is more of a just an acceptance. The Superior Court judge and the political parties make their nominations and work on these appointments. So all 3 have been reappointed by a Superior Court judge. And I guess I just need a motion to accept his appointments, because we are not approving his appointments. They're already approved by him. Is there? Don't have to vote on it? Okay, good. Yeah. So those are the 3. They are a term. What is their term 2 or 4 years? Four years. So those will be our Board of Elections for the next 4 years. All right. I think we have some not totally complicated, but not straightforward zoning recommendations. Commissioner Thomas, is there one that you need to recuse yourself from?
Yeah, E, West Jones.
Number E. Okay. We won't be too fancy this month, because I messed up last month. So we'll just take these one at a time. Some of them have conditions on them as well, so we want to make sure we understand those if they have conditions. So is there a motion to approve letter A, Mary Hyder, on that parcel? It was approved by the zoning board, I believe. Motion by Commissioner Jones to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Make a note. Okay, Luis and Daniel Wise. I don't think there was any special conditions on that one either.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Brass Investments, so that is the homes on Bearden Lane behind the food line. Can we did have a public concern about that. Can we review the details on that one?
The conditions are not on here.
There's no conditions on that one?
Yeah, it is. It's limited the density of subject property to 3 tracks.
3 tracks, that's what I thought. It's not 4, it's only 3. I don't know if the person's still here. Okay.
But he's still got to get connected to sewer first.
Yeah, even for the 3, he'd have to get sewers, and that would be on his expense, not the county's or the taxpayers. He'd have to work with Dalton Utilities on that. And I think there was, I think during the planning and zoning, there was also some concerns, but he attempted to address them, I think, as far as like some historical property, but that was determined there was no historical significance on that property later. It wasn't on the register. So we did check into that.
I make a motion to approve it.
Motion by Commissioner Staton to approve 3 parcels, not 4, as the person was concerned about. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. All right, we have 3 parcels for Diana Rico. Were there any conditions on those?
I would like to make a motion to, see if I can figure out a way to word this. Since the HVAC business or construction businesses south of it can go through their easement, since they put restrictions on it saying it's going to be a legal and professional office.
Yeah, that was the first condition, right? That it could not, it was zoned commercial, but it would be limited to professional. You could not have a car dealership there. You could not have
Correct. So
other types of commercial enterprises.
If we can hold their feet to the fire with legal and professional, I think they should be able to get in and out on Todd Avenue. So I'll make a motion to approve that one based off, we remove that restriction saying they can't access Todd Avenue.
Motion to approve the 3 parcel rezoning with removing the condition that the zoning board put on there related to, what was the avenue?
Todd Avenue.
Todd Avenue. The other restrictions such as buffers and all that would remain.
Legal professional.
Yep, and the limitation on the commercial use. Is that reasonable, Mr. Attorney? Okay. Do other commissioners want to put conditions or have a problem with those conditions? Or removing that one condition?
So what is the one we're removing?
The Todd Avenue cannot be used as an exit.
It doesn't read that way. Yeah,
Do you see it at the bottom there?
no, I don't see where it reads that way myself.
I'm basing it off, and I think he's here, that right there.
Well, it says limit access to.
Via Todd Avenue, no access to the property via. Did you see that, Commissioner Jones, now? Do you see it on that first condition?
Yes.
Okay.
Rest conditions can stay.
I have a motion by Commissioner Staton to keep all the conditions except for the Todd Avenue and approve the rezoning. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. Is there further discussion?
Yeah, I want to be sure of what we're doing here.
Yep, definitely.
I remember at the planning commission, there's a.
Yeah, they were
there's
opened, I
another
think, to
driveway
C1 and
off
C2.
of
And yeah,
Todd Avenue,
there is.
correct?
Yes.
And this is being rezoned, and they're going to be allowed to continue to use that, or are we doing away with it?
Allow them to use it.
Allow them to use it.
It's
Okay.
already there.
Right.
Already there, right?
Commissioner Staten, I think, felt like it was already in use today. It wasn't a burden.
Yeah, whether the.
As long as we limit
property
it to
the south
professional,
is legally zoned or not, those vans can come in,
because they're using Todd Avenue.
they're using it. So to me, it doesn't make sense that they can come in,
A
but
fairness, I guess.
And then there was another easement for that other business off Todd Avenue, but that's separate from this.
Yeah, we're not changing that, yeah.
Okay, I'm good. I just wanted to be sure.
Any other questions? Commissioner Robbins, you're getting comments? Okay, call to question. Is there all in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay? Passes on a 4-0 vote. All right, we have E, Wes Jones.
make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Staten to approve. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion or concerns about this one or the conditions? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote.
3-0.
Oh, that's right.
Recused himself.
You recuse yourself from that one, 3-0. 3-0, Blanca, sorry, on number E. Crow Road Holdings, this one was inadvertently sent back last month, but it was approved by the zoning board, and we just failed to vote on it, yes or no. So just need a motion to approve the rezoning of those 4 parcels.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Staten, second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. All right, thanks, guys. A little complicated. We have 2 annexations. The first one for Varnell. There's no land use objections, and 1 parcel where the homeowner has requested access to be annexed into Varnell. Is there a motion to approve Varnell annexation?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. And we have a second annexation. This is for Dalton, a single parcel with no land use objection. Is there a motion to accept the annexation?
Motion to accept.
Motion by Commissioner Staten. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. All right, we've got 2 from our HR department. The first one is a resolution and a contract that we need to sign with ACCG. That's our Georgia County authority, and they manage our 401A, similar to most people's 401K retirement funds. And to maintain our tax-exempt status, we need to adopt this latest language from the IRS and ACCG, our administrator of the funds. The resolution, again, was added on Friday. The overall agreement was in there from last week as well. Is there a motion to approve the resolution and the let me sign the document?
It doesn't change anything.
It does not change our contribution or doesn't affect. Say that again? Oh, ratifying the agreement and adding the resolution? Okay, sorry. Is there a motion to ratify the agreement, which we've already signed, and then adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staten. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay? Yeah, it's just totally a format change, no financial impact whatsoever. The second one, we've been challenging all the department heads and all the employees to make sure everyone has goals, that we're tracking those goals, that they're measurable, that we have open conversation with our employees, and that's basically done on a piece of paper or maybe a Word or Excel document today. We really need to upgrade that to make it So we're focusing on the goals and the objectives, not filling out paperwork and getting things signed and sending them in and find out who's signed off and who hasn't. Very standard if you're in the corporate world to have one of these cloud performance monitoring systems where all the employees can go in and see what their goals are, ask questions, put comments in. Their manager or supervisor can do the same and rank their employees, and everyone knows where they stand. So much more efficient way, especially when we have an organization of 600 employees, to make sure everybody is getting their goals and objectives and knows what their rankings are. So this is an annual fee of $18,000 for this system. I just need a motion to approve the annual contract. Motion by Commissioner Jones. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? I think this was the low-cost provider, so it was pretty good. These things can run $200,000 or $300,000 in the corporate world based on the number of employees you have. All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, say nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Our animal shelter, we mentioned grants. Our county administrator covered several grants that we had already received. These are new ones that we need to accept. The first one was from the Georgia Department of Agriculture. So we can continue our spay and neuter program, which we have been funding, but now we'll get additional money to continue that from the state, which is always good. And we keep our cost, we don't make it zero, I think we make it $10, if I don't recall, but of course it costs a lot more than $10 to spay or neuter. I think $20, $20. But the cost from a vet will be multiple times that if you have to pay for it in a private vet. So we're not trying to compete with them, we're just trying to get the word out, educate people, and get as many pets spayed and neutered, everybody that comes into us, as well as people, citizens. We want to offer this at a lowest cost possible for $20. Is there a motion to accept the $10,000 grant? There's no match on this.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins, second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion?
Just one question, looking at this list in the state, I'm glad we got 10 grand, but seeing where we got 22,000, 20,000, how do we get more?
Ms. Franklin, was that the maximum amount we could apply for? I asked for like 35. Oh, okay. We like to be ambitious and aggressive.
Last year I think I asked for 50 and I got 3,000. This year I asked for 35 and I got 10,000.
So not necessarily logic applied.
So next year ask for 2 million?
Yes, sir. We'll do it. I mean, yeah, we have, y'all give us $15,000, and basically what that is our owner redemption fees, and that's just, you give them back to us, and we start off our year with those funds doing spays and neuterings. This only happens like every 3 years, so you need to go get a dog cat tag on your truck, because that's where this is coming from. I'm sure all 5 of you do. Mm-hmm. So that's where the money's coming from. And the state, we apply, and the state just divvies out what we have. But
Can you get back? Yep.
yeah.
Good question, though. Good question. Yeah, we've
Buy
gotten
that
cages.
tag.
We've gotten cages. We've gotten spay and neuter money. So we keep looking under every rock that we can find for money.
Right.
We'll take it.
Buy that tag, and maybe we'll get more.
Thank you.
I think we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. This is the CHIP grant. This is the second grant that we mentioned earlier. So this will go actually primarily towards seniors. It doesn't necessarily have to be towards seniors. We're going to come up with our own group to base it on needs, a needs-based committee to divvy up these funds and make sure they go to good uses. But it is a $400,000 grant, which our local match is roughly 10%, just a little over $40,000 for that. But we can put ramps in, we can paint, we can put roofs on, really improve the homes for low income and our seniors so they can stay in their homes, they don't lose their homes because they're just not safe. So that's what it's really about, as our county administrator mentioned earlier. So And we don't have to match that out of our general fund. We can match it out of our ARP. So that's a great use of ARP funds and a great use of the CHIP grant, I think, to help the seniors stay in their homes.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. All right, our Parks and Recs, Rocky Face Ridge, I mentioned the grand opening coming up. We have 2 pavilions that we would like to finish. We've gotten some estimates. I think it's going to actually end up being less than $75,000, but as a worst-case scenario, we'll put $75,000 in for 2 pavilions. That's the lighting, the materials, and the labor and everything going on. But we hope to have those, those finished by the grand opening on the 25th. But we need a motion to approve a not-to-exceed $75,000 of SPLOST funds to finish Rocky Face Ridge.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Staton, second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. I mentioned earlier about the courthouse and the the elevator, and also some cabling and fiber runs that we need to connect the courthouse back up to our network. So, like I said, the elevator wasn't too expensive to get that up to the standard, so we'll have the most modern, safe, hopefully, elevator in the county. But that was quicker and easier to get us back in that courthouse after 18 months of construction. So, we have our final change order for the courthouse of $21,625.
Final change order, that might be.
I know, I'm going out on a limb, Kent. It's the final one. The artwork's going to be free from Mr. Webb, so won't be a change order for that.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. And our Riverbend Park. Hopefully the final change order for that, Commissioner Robbins.
Motion.
These are a bunch of knickknacks from as we moved along. All this work has already been done. You know, the restroom, hand dryers, different things that the contractor that we changed, not necessarily up or down, but the total amount of the change was $78,799. We were more or less on budget after you factor in the sewers for Riverbend Park, so this will finish it up as well. Do I have a motion by Commissioner Robbins? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. We had an emergency situation with our health department. Of course, it's been kind of critical the last 2 years here with the pandemic and all the work that they've done, but there was a problem with their heating and air, so they're down to basically 1/4 capacity for that. And we got 3 quotes, and I think our building and maintenance recommended the low-cost provider to do the repairs for the heating and cooling of our Whitfield County Department, $29,710. Is there a motion to approve the emergency repairs? That will come out of our contingency budget, by the way.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Staton. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. We had an accident, I guess back in March. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. No property was damaged, but our Gradall equipment left the roadway due to a soft bank, and there was quite a bit of damage to that. Had to be towed to Calhoun for an estimate. I think we were talking about maybe getting a second estimate, and I did do a little research with our insurance person and found out that there is a $10,000 deductible, so we might be able to charge this to insurance, but I think regardless we want to get a couple of additional quotes on this. So that is good news that that they can be covered under deductible, even though it's a large deductible. We won't have to pay, hopefully we won't have to pay $74,000 anyway, but insurance will pay a big portion of that.
We need to just postpone this.
Yeah, is there a motion to postpone this and continue looking for quotes? Motion by Commissioner Jones. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Thomas. All in favor of postponing and continuing to get additional quotes? Raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. The last item that we added to the agenda earlier this evening was what they call the state paid county reimbursed. So we're down to 6 district attorneys now. It was 7 going back a year or 2 ago. This is for the new year coming forward. This is part of the budget, but these are the pay rates and the pension and all that is through the state. 2 of these are paid for. We don't pay the whole 518 in any year. 2 are paid for by Murray County, and 4 are paid for by Whitfield. And there could be 5 next year, or there could be 4, but until it works it down, we have to approve this contract. I have to assign it. Is there a motion to approve me signing the annual agreement?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Staton. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. We do have an executive session about real estate and personnel, but before we adjourn for that, is there any public comments? Does not have to be on any agenda item, just in general. Please state your name and address, Mr. Long, just for the record.
Darrell Long, 4310 Troy Lane.
Thank you.
I came here to ask you about one thing, but I want to make a comment on your money you're spending on upgrading elderly and housing.
The CHIP grant, yes.
We have some groups here in Whitfield County, I know one of which is Christian Carpenters. I think it would probably be good for us in Whitfield County with this grant to contact them. We might get like free labor, which would make that money go a whole lot farther.
Oh, he's a contractor, you're saying?
Well, the Christian Carpenters are
Oh, a Christian. I didn't understand you. Okay.
Christian Carpenters, and there's a couple of other carpenter groups that does
Volunteer kind of thing?
volunteer, and they're really good, and they do volunteer work for elderly people, so you might make them dollars go a whole lot further.
Yeah, they might just charge us for the materials, for example. Okay.
Yes, sir. Next thing, Troy Lane. Troy Lane goes into Betty Drive. It goes in a real sharp curve. If you're coming the other way down Betty Drive, when you go on Troy Lane, it's a real sharp curve. We got kids that get out there, and they shouldn't be, but they get out there and draw pictures on the concrete with their chalk, and they got some ball goals set up right there in that curve. Plus, they ride their bicycles around. And there's folks going around those curves 35, 40 mile an hour. We're going to get a kid killed. I would like to see some speed breakers put about 50 foot from that curve on either road to slow that traffic down and hopefully save a child's life. If y'all would look into that, I would greatly appreciate it.
Okay. I think we have a process where we need to get a petition from your neighbors, just because some people want it, maybe some people don't. So we just ask if you wouldn't mind doing a petition for the people around that Troy Lane and the areas that you identified, and just get them to sign that they also want the speed bumps.
Well, I had talked to Dwayne, and he's in agreement with me that that's something that's really needed. I mean,
Okay.
it's needed, and we got these folks that drive these hopped up cars and stuff, and you know, I don't have no children, but you know, I hate to see somebody's kid run over.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
It's our responsibility, old people, children, and
That's your sweet spot. Thank you. Any other public comments? Questions for us? Okay, if no other comments, I need a motion to enter executive session for the purposes of personnel and real estate. Motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Thomas. All in favor, say aye. Raise your hand. Okay. We will not have any further action after we return other than to adjourn. Blanca has us an area, but I don't know where.